Hey guys, another concept video for you guys to think about as you go into your classes. A few weeks ago we did a continuing education. Some of you weren't able to make it, but the thing we talked about was this idea of do we have an up group or a down group. So when you walk into your class and you gather the group around the chalkboard, you kind of do a quick assessment of, hey, what's the attitude in the room, what's the energy level in the room. Very simply, if we don't have to split hairs on it, very simply you can kind of think about it as, hey, I've got an up group and they're fired up and they're chatty and they're having fun and it's a bunch of vets and they all know what's going on. Or I have a down group. Maybe I've got a bunch of beginners or they're newer athletes. There's not a lot of talking. Maybe people are sitting down. It's just kind of one of those days. And you have to kind of customize your chalkboard experience to whether or not you have an up group or a down group. If you've got an up group, that's a great day to go into more detailed coaching because they're probably a little bit more prepared to pay attention and they're not going to glaze over instantly. If you're looking around, you're like, geez, I got a down group here today. That's a great day to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take it really, really easy on the technical stuff and I'm going to focus on just sort of building energy, trying to get people in a good headspace, a good spirit before we break out and we start the class. And so this is an extension of that. This conversation we're having right now is an extension of that concept, up group or down group, and it actually is based on a post that I saw one of our coaches make in one of our Slack channels just the other day. The post went something like, hey, got a message from one of our athletes. They basically expressed a desire to see the chalkboards get slower because they like when it's just fast and quick and easy and they don't have to lose attention. And that's great for some athletes. They want a quick chalkboard so they can get into the mix. But the reason we do chalkboards is because not everybody feels that way. Some athletes, they need an overview of the class. They need to understand what the movements are. They need some detail. So how do we reconcile that? This whole concept is about active viewing. We are going to get our athletes to actively view our chalkboard. And the way we do that is when we go out and we start to demonstrate and we start to talk through the movement and we're breaking down the different pieces, or maybe we're forecasting our shims, we use this very basic tool. Watch me, look at, pay attention to. So if I'm standing there, I'm going to ask my athletes, I'm not just going to say, when I squat, I drive my knees out. I'm going to say, when I squat, I drive my knees out. Look at my knees. And now I've got my group to actually look at something specific. Look at my knees. This is what it looks like when somebody's knees don't drive out. Oftentimes they cave in. And then this is what it looks like. If I cue you up, this is what it would look like for you to drive your knee out. And I would show them. Look at my shoulders right now. Look at my low back. Watch my hips. Try to see the difference between the next two movements. Watch, I'm going to do one where I don't open my hips all the way. I'm going to do one where I do open my hips all the way. What we've done is we've taken the chalkboard, which for veterans or people who've been around or people who are just not ready to pay attention, we've taken that really easy, hey, I'm just going to glaze over. This isn't interesting to me. I'm going to just not pay attention. This is boring. And we're going to give them an active exercise. We're going to make sure that they are paying attention to something specific. So we ask them to actively view us. We don't just tell them things. We ask them to look, internalize, think about the information in the chalkboard, which will keep them from glazing over and losing interest. And it'll take a 5-minute chalkboard that would have otherwise been boring for some, and it'll make it actually sort of an exercise. So even though it's just the chalkboard, you're still actually coaching and leading and managing the group by asking them to actively view the things you're talking about. So the concept is active viewing, active watching. We do that by asking them to look at specific things, challenging the way that they are addressing you at the chalkboard, so it's not just them receiving content. Try it on next time you go to class, active viewing. It's a great way to bring the chalkboard up a little bit.